Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Looks like we've got Dadpool and Mr. Donuts already in the chat. Morning, gentlemen. I guess I should let Facebook participate, I guess. Good morning over on Facebook. Another Friday. Here we go. What's going on this morning / afternoon for Mr. Donuts? So let's see here. Still getting everything set up. Facebook crashed my computer and I had to start everything all over. Made Canadian, I'm here, but just creeping until my meeting's done. Yeah, don't let me interrupt your meeting because, that's your money. That is your money. Yeah, between a push message coming through the cell phone saying that Colorado's on mandatory face masks in public and Facebook, my personal Facebook page, not wanting to put anything through for me. Whew. It's already been a trying morning. Thought we were going to start off the stream with some puppy loving, and she took off. She went with Jackson. She wasn't having it. So we are well on our way to the wonderful affiliate status on Twitch. Apparently, all that gaming that I did with one or two people in there pretty much killed my average, so I need to wait to have at least 3 people average in our stream, and our stream's growing by leaps and bounds every day. So every time we stream, we have like another 4 or 5 people, so just have to wait the 14 days for those other average days to fall off. Got to have a 30-day average of at least 3 people, I guess. And yeah, when I'd stream for hours and hours playing Red Dead and have like one person come in, I guess it kind of killed my average. Who cares, right? It wasn't all about the numbers. It's mainly about the de-stressing and defusing, right? Oh, let's see here. Pull up the old Discord and find what we were going to talk about. What were we talking about? Exactly. Evening there in the UK. If you haven't yet, you can go over to the Discord, join in there. If you do read in the news and SeazndMedic is sharing, you'll probably ruin it for yourself because I just post things in there so I can remember what we're going to talk about. So, yeah. So I added on an LGBTQ tag on Twitch because during my Kelsey was on Facebook, I added that to our tags, and because during the mental health conference that I attended, there was a guy there from the Trevor Project, and I was really impressed with it. The Trevor Project is for LGBTQ. Some people put plus. There's so many divisions or additions to it, but LGBTQ is what most people are familiar with. It's a group for young, it's a website or a resource for for LGBTQ people. It's a community that they can join. They do have their own social media site. People can discuss things like their difficulties in transitioning genders, whether it's medical or mental. They have a suicide prevention hotline as far as phone goes. You can also do it via text. You can also, they have other instant messaging options. Because, I mean, if you are living in a house that's not supportive to that type of lifestyle and you need to reach out to somebody, the average person now that is still in their teens is not going to make a phone call, right? They're going to need a text option, or they're going to have to, be able to make a instant message connection somehow. And that way you're not on speakerphone, or the people that you live with don't hear your conversation one-sided, because that's going to cause just as much freak out, right? So Trevor Project, I'm going to try to do a little more research so I can do them a little bit more justice. Good morning, Bot Mom. Sorry about the thumping on the desk. It's a very emotional thing for me. The LGBTQ community needs more safe places. That's correct. And just like people with any other things that are understood only by a certain community, they need their own place too, to feel like they can talk. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be, right? I mean, that's what this is supposed to be for people that have questions or concerns, or trying to deal with, live with somebody that has some form of mental illness. And a lot of people don't like to call it mental illness, and it sounds very clinical. But I mean, anxiety, depression, it's when it starts to get really complicated, and like schizophrenia and those types of things that I don't have the expertise there. But social anxiety, panic disorder, all of those things, depression, clinical depression, severe depression, resistant depression, as far as depression resistant to medications. I understand that. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. Not a counselor. I'm just what you'd call a peer support person. I'm a mental health advocate and patient. So, and I will be for the rest of my life. That's just part of who I am. That's my new normal, or it's actually been my normal for most of my life. It's just now that I'm tired of not being able to discuss things and feel comfortable with it. And so now I feel more like, well, I'm going to discuss it, and if it makes you uncomfortable, well, that's on you. If that makes sense. We should be able to tell people what's going on with us without feeling uncomfortable ourselves or making them be uncomfortable. Not being able to openly discuss it hurts many people. It does. And so it's pretty serious to jump right into the stream, kind of like, hey, good morning, let's talk serious. No. But really, that's what. So the Trevor Project Something just popped up on my phone. The Trevor Project is an awesome resource for people that are in that lesbian, gay, transgender, or queer or questioning lifestyle. I mean, I have a sister that is gay. I have a daughter that is gay, and daughter-in-law, soon to be. That's the same relationship, by the way. And I have a daughter who kind of feels herself to be almost non-binary. I don't know exactly how she would describe herself yet. And she calls herself asexual. You know, she really doesn't like people contact outside of, as far as physical contact outside of her family. And that's where she's at right now. And that's fine. We really got to get rid of the stigma for mental health and for the LGBTQ community too. I mean, my personal belief is not, it's changed over the years. I mean, when I was a teenager, I knew that my sister was gay. Technically, she says I knew that she was gay before she did, but and you know, it didn't change our relationship. It didn't change anything between us, but we're the last two siblings in our family. One of our sisters just older than, well, there's a few siblings in between her and the sister that's just older than me. She's been one of the most supportive people for her in her life. And I mean, the two sisters right next to each other, in my brother's in between. So, okay, let's back up. I have 10 siblings. I'm the 10th. There would have been 12, but my first two brothers were stillborn. So there'd be an even dozen. There'd be 6 and 6. Right now there's 6 sisters and 4 brothers. So, born and raised in Utah, very religious Mormon family. And so being gay in a Mormon family, difficult, but not, they didn't ostracize her, you know. They didn't not accept her. They didn't openly not accept her or whatever, but at the same time, it's difficult growing up in a family that is of a strict religion such as that. We used to kid people when we were in the Middle East, when we moved to Abu Dhabi. We just said we traded one strong religion for another. We went from a Mormon town in Utah, Salt Lake City, to Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, to a Muslim society. I mean, their beliefs are different, but they do have their own thing. Mr. Donuts is also lurking on YouTube. Thanks, man. Statistics, right? Oh, but anyway, so I'm going to try to see if I can use some of the slides from the guy from the Trevor Project's thing from NAMI. to try to bring it into our stream. And who knows, maybe if I'm persistent enough, maybe we can actually have him on for question and answer, let him give his spiel to our little community for 20, 30 minutes if he has that kind of time. So, yeah, and then just trying to work that kind of stuff out. I've never done this before. So, there's a lady that is a licensed therapist in Utah that I used to work with at an ambulance company. They have their own, two podcasts. Her and her husband do one, and her and somebody else do another. I'm going to try to get them on as a guest, and who knows, maybe they want me on as a guinea pig. We'll trade platforms, and we'll see if we can stream both or something. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, leave a comment somewhere, even if it's after the stream's over with and you're watching the recording. Leave a comment to let me know how much traffic I'm getting. I mean, I have a lot of 3-minute views on Facebook. It'll tell me if you watch it for 10 seconds, for 3 minutes, or longer. That's all it tells me. So it helps me know. I mean, I get instant feedback from Twitch, and we can see Twitch. I see numbers on Twitch. We're doing great on Twitch. I would like to see more activity if you're using it on Facebook or YouTube, because I can always upload the video after. If all we're doing is watching it play back, then I can upload it to Facebook, and Facebook keeps freezing and stuttering while it's live too. And I don't know whether it's the data from my network or whether it is Facebook or the phone that I'm using or whatever. Once we have our streaming PC, I can actually use my laptop to do Facebook too. That's not a problem there. So need to figure out what's working and what's not as far as that goes. Yeah, exactly. On Facebook, we'll use either just voice if that's the way that our guests are comfortable with, or if they were able to do camera, I can have up to 6 people on this software that I'm using right now in Restream. So, yeah, we could do that. Let me check Discord real quick, see if there's anybody that's put anything through there. I keep getting notifications. Nope, I don't see anything on ours. It's just, I think, Drew League that I manage their Discord. Apparently Drew's mom is having an MRI this morning. They discovered that she has a torn meniscus on the, she tore her meniscus on her 4th of July vacation. He's just asking for prayers for his mom. We hope everything works out for her. Good deal. So, yeah. I do like Discord for some things. I don't like it for others. I haven't tried the video feature yet. I don't know how long they'll leave it up after the major part of the pandemic is over, because I understand that it does get bombarded sometimes, depending on how many people you have in your stream. So, anyway, let's go back to, so Trevor Project is a new future thing that I'm looking at. Disney World had their reopening, and they have already had some revelations and issues that they are working on. Kelsey lives in Central Florida, bought mom's in Central Florida. So some things that worked out differently than this particular travel person. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Make it stop. Disney's the last place that needs to open right now. Yeah, exactly. Well, they want to evenly distribute this, across the world, right? So we need to have this one central place for everybody to mix and get sick. Anyway, apparently, after their grand reopening, they're still making adjustments, but it made it easier for people to get reservations, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view. Usually you had to do 180 days before trying to get a reservation at like a restaurant, someplace that you wanted to eat, some particular show experience. You would have to go 6 months in advance and figure it out, and then try to make your hotel reservations match up with your dinner or show reservations, the days that you had your tickets, all of that stuff. It's a pain. Trying to get it to work out. Well, now they'll only accept it up to 60 days. So narrows everything down to 2 months. Let's see. Disney's literally 20 minutes away from me. I can live with them not being open for another year. People travel right through my city going to and from there. Yeah. Stop at every gas station and every store. Yeah. I understand that. That's where we're moving to Central Florida, and we're trying to decide whether we want to live in the same city as the hospital that Kate's working in, or whether we want to live outside the city. Then it comes down to price range. Is what's in our price range. We'd like a 3-bedroom house, but the closer you get to the coast, the higher the cost and the smaller the house gets, right, for your cost. In the city of Ocala, where the hospital is, you can find a little bit of everything. You can be a little bit farther away from people, or you can be in like a mobile home community if it's not a retirement community, which there's a ton of them. But then you can pretty much reach out your window and shake your neighbor's hand. That's not for us. We don't like that. So fast passes are out right now. Just the old-fashioned waiting online with the social distancing twist. There's little marks on the ground to keep you in your 6-foot span, plus employees wearing masks and face shields. So I'm not sure what that's like for the bus drivers. I have a streamer that I watch. He's a bus driver, and he pretty much works evening to close. And wonder what it's like having to drive wearing a face shield and a mask. He doesn't wear glasses, so I'm sure that he's just fine that way. But yeah. That's pretty funny. Happiest place on earth. Let's scar our toddlers at Disney with all the employees in hazmat suits. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe they have Disney print on their Tyvek, and it'll be something else to market. you know, Maybe Disney will have a hazmat line that comes out that you can buy at the Disney store or something. I mean, they sell face masks. You can only use ear loops, face masks at Disney World and Disneyland. And by happenstance, they sell them inside. So, yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, all the medical staff and the people that do the sweeping and cleaning up dressed as the response team in Monsters, Inc. What do you mean? Is what Disney? I'm confused. Yeah, Monsters, Inc. is Disney. They own that studio. Yep, they do. They own that studio. They have since Toy Story, since before Toy Story. Can't remember if Toy Story was their first Disney movie or not. Kind of strange that I don't remember that. But yeah, so they do have times still for like Rise of the Resistance. They're still using, let's see, the park. There's a snag in the virtual boarding pass position when gates open around 6:30 a.m. But this person had to get up at 4:30 to be in the Orlando area by 5, at Disney Hollywood Studios by 5:45, so that they could meet their 6:30 a.m. time. And if you didn't do that, you did not get onto that particular attraction period. If you don't have a reservation time, a boarding time, you don't get on Rise of the Resistance. And I mean, it's okay if that's the experience that you want when you go to Disney World or Disneyland right now. It's just not something that I am prepared to do right now. I mean, till the numbers start to go down in Florida and everywhere. I mean, why even with the extra cleaning and prep and everything that they're doing, I mean, it's visible what they're doing, so that that they're actually disinfecting the ride cars after people go through. There's alcohol stations everywhere, right? The not alcohol, but hand sanitizer stations everywhere. And I mean, at the ride entrance, at the ride exit, in between rides, I guess there's sanitizing stations or hand washing available all over the place. Characters aren't hidden away in long lines or whatever. They're actually out on platforms, out in the public. You can't have, let's see, disinfecting isn't working. Well, if it's done correctly, it does work, but that's the caveat. When somebody learns how to go through the disinfecting process, you have to follow the particular guidelines, and if you don't follow those guidelines, then it's not cleaning it, right? So you have to have employees with integrity to follow the steps every time and getting it. Yeah. Hand sanitizer gets you through to the next step, right? You do have to periodically wash your hands. I mean, nothing beats hand washing, period. I mean, Um, you and you have to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer correctly. I mean, you have to get in between your fingers, and I scrub the palms of my hands with my fingers to get it up underneath my fingernails too. I do that every time I wash my hands. I do my thumbs individually, go in between my fingers, the sides of my hands, up on top. I mean, it's a thing that I did every day at work, right? I mean, you get to where, I mean, they want you to wash your hands for, they say 26 seconds because there's 26 letters in the alphabet and it's easier for everybody to remember. But if you stream through that and you skip how long and you're not actually washing, you're just rubbing your hands together and then just leaving like you do when you go into the, public restroom and there just happens to be somebody standing there. So you mock wash your hands like some people do. That's not washing your hands. You got to get in between your fingers, tops, sides, thumbs, fingernails, the whole thing. And it's just something. Yeah. Mr. Donut says, I wash my hands and then I sanitize. Yeah. I mean, and what you are seeing go away from a lot of places, probably not inside the hospital, but from a lot of places, are the hand lotion that's like next to the hand sanitizer. You do have to do some skin repair if you're washing your hands frequently. You still moisturize your hands, but you don't want to do that in public. There we go. I sing the chorus from Living in a Prayer with my kids all the time. I don't know why that makes me. I can just picture you with a 3-year-old singing Bon Jovi. All right. I guess it's, yeah. Lotion's gross. Yeah, I don't like the greasy feeling. So this morning I screwed up my usual regimen. When I towel dry my beard and then I put oil through it, we make our own skin conditioner, my own beard oil / post shave oil. Kate uses it too. We have sensitive skin. We get rashes and stuff like that from too harsh of fragrance stuff that people put in. And yeah, it feels like you could spend, chat's moving faster and faster. Never rinsed off. Yeah, exactly. So, hello, Deadpool and others. So I screwed up. I usually put the oil through and then I will then dry it, use the heat to get it straight. Because especially, let's see, I can't remember now. It's this side. This side has a whirl and it'll just be a knot, and when I get out of bed, it just sticks out sideways. And I mean, as this gets longer, you end up with it poking straight out in front of you, just like anything else. Just depends on how you combed it with the pillow, I guess. And so I dried it before I put the oil through it, and then it just feels like straw. It's starting to get better now that the oil's going into it, but have to use so even for the infuser, or the diffuser, sorry, not infuser, diffuser back there. The stuff that we bought that comes with it, it says right on it not to use it on your skin. It's yeah, just shaved. It's too hot. Yeah, and so the stuff that comes with it, it says you can't use it on your skin. I'm like, well, shit. If I can't use it on my skin, why do I want to breathe it, right? So I'm just going to replace all of the essential oil that we use with the stuff that we use for our skin. Guru Nada, they actually sell it at Walmart, in the pharmacy section, at least. If I've got it here in Rifle, Colorado, or Craig, Colorado, they probably got it everywhere then. But it's organic. You could eat it if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. But we combine avocado oil, jojoba almond, or sweet almond oil, and some castor oil for the beard stuff, to avoid getting, I get really dry skin in spots, and that's why I put the beard back on in the first place, let the beard grow in, because shaving was just irritating the crap out of it, and it just felt like, all right, well, if I've got eczema and an open pores trying to repair themselves on my face, what good is it doing when I put a mask on? I've still got an open area to end up screwing up, right? So, yeah, let's see. So you supposedly need a carrier oil to use it topically. The pure form of it can be harmful. I don't know much about essential oil, but they scare me. Yeah, so I will only use stuff that is certified as being organic or food grade in our oils. I mean, I've put them out for sale at some local art and trade things that we've done, and I'll probably do that in the future. Yeah, there we go. There's a hemp company that puts natural beard oil with CBD in it. Might help the healthiness. Yeah, I get that. And I mean, I haven't thought about putting CBD in our beard and post shave oil, but Kate uses it when she shaves her legs and whatnot, and it. So, being trained as a barber has helped, and it's also a source of frustration listening to people talk about certain things. Most people that complain about ingrown hairs, if you overstretch the skin anywhere, if you overstretch the skin and then shave, essentially when you stretch the skin, the hair extends out a little bit farther through the skin, you shave it off, and then everybody says it's smoother. Well, it is smoother for a time, but if you have any curl to that hair, or if you've overstretched it and then that hair recedes all the way back underneath the skin, now it can't get back up through, and there's blood supply and oil supply from a gland to every follicle, and if it pulled back in dirt, bacteria, anything, that's when it ends up getting infected, essentially. You get a festered hair. Eventually, if it can pull its way back up, you can remove the hair and then end up getting the rest of the stuff out of the follicle. But if you have really curly facial hair, that's where a lot of guys get huge razor bumps, because they overstretch, they shave, and then they get a scar, and it keeps going. over and over, and they get they call them razor bumps, but really it's scarring from having festered hairs, overstretching the skin, letting it go beneath the surface. Even when you go to the barber shop and we do a straight razor shave, if they're going over the area multiple times, like 4 and 5 times, right, repeatedly without having a break in that area, you can get festered hairs. You can get ingrown hairs. It causes some skin trauma, essentially taking too much of the epidermis off, the protective layer on the outside, and you can get rashes, ingrown hairs, whatever. So it takes some conditioning in between times to prevent that from happening. If you go with the direction of the hair or across the direction of the hair first, you can maybe do one stroke against the grain and be fine, but don't, if you overstretch the skin, even on your legs, you overstretch the skin at all, you'll get festered hairs. Could end up with a lot more festered hairs, a lot more issues than if you just shave more frequently. Let's see. Drain ingrown hair. Have you seen the extractions? Yeah, I know. That's a thing. Kate likes those videos. I do not. I decidedly do not really. I'll watch some of them, but when they get too gross, I've been there as a tech in the ER where somebody finally comes in and they're just like, you got to get rid of this because it's driving me insane. And some ER docs will do it, some won't. And yeah, if you end up breaking that sac, there's this horrible smell, depending on whether it's infected or even if it's just sebum, the natural oil that the skin produces that just builds up, sebaceous cysts. It's a horrible smell. It's a fat, it's an oil, and it, depending on the person's chemistry, it stinks. Yeah. Have you ever seen somebody with a bug in their ear? Yeah. Well, we would, on the ambulance that I worked on, we would get people that had bugs in their ears. Often they would have more than one. And the only way to get them out alive that was the least traumatizing was they put really warm water, warm as the person could stand, and some peroxide in the water, and we would have them turn on their side, and we would run the water down in, wait for a time when the bug starts to suffocate, it comes up and out. It's kind of gross. And okay, let's see. Works mostly in skilled nursing homes with Alzheimer's and dementia patients, but the ER is where I love to be. Yeah, and ER at night is funner than ER during the day because all the strange stuff, people wait all day long until they finally can't stand it anymore, and they wait till 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning to come in with the strangest things. We'll say strange. That's a nice word. Strange is a nice word. But that way, if you flushed it with the super warm water and the peroxide also has the disinfecting effect. It causes the water to kind of bubble as you're putting it in and as it's cleaning around the area, and it irritates the insect or bug. It doesn't have to be an insect. It irritates the bug they let go of whatever they were doing and they come out, and you continue to flush with the water. Sometimes we found more than one bug. One's alive and ones are dead. It was gross. I really hated it. Hated that part. But when I worked in the Utah State Prison as a med tech, we'd end up flushing eardrums a lot with a water pick. And it's a gentle water pick, and they showed us how to do it to where we're not going to puncture somebody's eardrum, but they would make their own earplugs out of toilet paper or whatever, and so they were constantly pushing stuff in their ears, and so they would end up blocking off that eardrum. Seen some nasty stuff. If it didn't work to just flush it with super warm water and peroxide, then they ended up having to have the PA or the doc come in and use a ear curette and scrape it out. Essentially, pantyhose over your head works. What? What were we talking about here? To keep bugs out of your ears, yes. But once they're in there, that would help to keep them in. Morning crazy. What's up, Verno? Yeah, she says she was just kidding as far as the pantyhose. But the commercials that I get on Facebook now and some on YouTube have the little the fiber optic camera with the little round curette on the end of it that plugs into your iPhone, your Android phone, your computer, and that's yeah. A lot of times, nothing I say is serious either, but only when it has to be, I guess. So that ear camera thing kind of sets me off a little bit because like I said, I've participated in it. And that camera is better than half of the manual stuff that I've participated in the ER, though. I have fished things out of people's ears that the PA wasn't able to get out before too, and that's just something, I don't know, gives me the creeps. Well, when we buy new shower heads, I usually get one that has a pretty solid stream option on it so I can flush my own ears out, because I can't stand to have somebody else dig anything out of my ear. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, they've changed contact with the characters at Disneyland, at Disney World, to where now you can be able to take selfies at your character breakfast. I don't have the graphic pulled up, but it's on. If you can see that, yeah. I mean, that's your new pictures with characters at character breakfast. They'll be 6 feet away, and they wave at you while you take a picture over your shoulder. And I'm not sure how the little people with the cameras running around and handing out cards, hey, buy this or buy that. I don't know how much they're doing that either. It doesn't mention. Crowds have thinned out. Obviously, they're also keeping the number down inside of the parks for now. So yeah, here this article is saying that if you need to go and you have to go, things have changed, and you might be able to have an experience that you wouldn't have had pre-pandemic. But at the same time, it's always been a thing that, always worried about getting someone carrying something from one country over to here to be exposed at someplace like Disney World, Disneyland, Universal, any of them, and then taking it back home. 20% of the time we end up with some kind of a head cold or whatnot from flying anyway. Some kind of cold or flu or something, mild flu, when we fly. And so right now I'm not looking forward to doing much traveling, but at the same time, I hate being cooped up. I mean, I haven't left here since last Wednesday, I think it was. I haven't gone anywhere except I did drive to a local drive-through. Pretty much our only drive-through restaurant in our little town. And that's been the extent of my travel over the last 10 days. Haven't gone anywhere. But anyway, so that was one article that I had posted on the Discord. Now, once again, I'll throw it up there. So there's another article that came out of Unilad website, unilad.co.uk, so I thought this person was from the UK, but they're not. Yeah. You do cookies, so does everybody else. 21-year-old women say a woman quits her job to earn 6 figures pretending to be a dog. I thought this kind of fell within our realm of acceptance/mental health topic. 21-year-old woman who loves to play fetch and get head scratches now earns 6 figures a month by pretending to be a dog. Article was written by Emily Brown and published on the 14th of July. Yeah, exactly. Bot Mom says, I want that job. And then Mrs. Sticky Day says, okay. And Dadpool, yeah, it's redonkulous. Yeah, that's why I was like, do we talk about it? Do I not bring it up? But, we just talked about LGBTQ community and being more accepting about people accepting mental health. This is a lifestyle choice for her. She doesn't live her life as a dog. She just does it as a release, or I guess you can call it a kink, because part of it is. Most people out there love dogs with their faithful nature and willingness to play and all. But Jenna Phillips from Austin, Texas, feels that she has a much stronger connection to our four-legged friends. She said she's felt like since a child she's pretended and enjoyed playing as if she were a puppy. Let's see. Yeah, more worried about the people that purchase her service than her. Yes, and that's where I was like, let's talk about where a line is. When she was older, Jenna visited a convention in Chicago where she met a couple of men who were into pet play, and that encounter inspired her more. So during the 2 years she worked as a clinical optician, Jenna set up a fan-only account to share her kink with other people. Through the first 18 months, she stated it was more vanilla content. She says, I feel like a dog. I just want to roll around, play fetch, and get head scratches, run around and play. Says, but says all of that, I always acted like a puppy, but not in a sexual way at first. So I love praise. I love hearing good girl. It makes my heart melt every time. Okay, but let's see. Let's catch up with some of this. I used to pretend I was a horse, but it really hurts to run around on your hands and knees as an adult. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 8-year-old me, though. She just want to clarify. 8-year-old her, 100% horse. Yep. Vern, he identifies himself as a billionaire, but his checks still bounce. Yep. I mean, and so that's where we go to there's a whole scene out there, I guess. Said once her fans only page started to take off, she decided to give up work as an optician, made it her full-time job to represent the female puppy community, just because most girls do dogs, cats, foxes, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of negative around the adult industry. People who are there by choice, they should enjoy it because they enjoy it and should be ashamed. I'm sure for 6 figures, she's probably there by choice and enjoys it. Yeah, and that's her thing. Is let's see, shouldn't be ashamed. There we go. That's where I was confused. This is sticky days. I wasn't sure what you meant there. If it continues, where will it go? What's going to be acceptable? Yeah, that's why we're discussing it. I mean, how? So as long as they're keeping their personal sex habits or whatever in private, if she wants to walk around like a dog and it isn't affecting someone else in a negative way, I guess let her crawl around, I don't know. Let's see. I'm a donut. I might set up a fans only and dress up as a sexy donut. I'm not sure. I know that they're, furry tails, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's true. Along that lines, I didn't know that was a thing for a while, and I would occasionally be subjected to that image coming across a picture here or there. Yeah, no, you're fine. That's why we're having these discussions. I mean, I picked this article because it's out of the norm. It's strange. It's kind of out there, strange for me anyway. But there was a lady walking. So I was driving. I can't remember where I was going. I think I was going to Denver to pick up Kate from the airport. And so it was like 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I was heading through little Rifle, Colorado. Rifle, Colorado is just this little town off the side of I-70. And there's a motel there that pretty much is just the armpit of the community, basically. It looks really nice with all the flowers and junk outside of it, but there's a lot of prostitution and drug sales and things that happen in and around there. And I was a few blocks away from that. As I'm heading towards the McDonald's on the other side of the freeway, there's a lady walking towards me who had a lot of miles on her face and body. We'll say it that way. She was wearing a very short dress, and I could just see something every once in a while as she's walking towards me. And I was like, what am I seeing? And I look in the rearview mirror as I pass by, and she has a raccoon tail sticking out from underneath the bottom of her dress from behind. And I was like, I think I know. I think I know what's happened. And yeah, so I think I sat in the McDonald's parking lot chuckling for a good long time before I could actually go up to the speaker to order anything to eat. And yeah, exactly. The light bulb went off. Well, it went on, and then it went off, and then it started to flicker a little bit like, what did we just see? Yeah, exactly. There's a sticker that just says, bam, exactly. Oh, so now whenever anybody mentions that particular tail attached to a plug or whatever, yeah, that's what comes to mind, is this well-traveled stick figure woman walking towards me in a very short dress with a plug showing. Welcome, sorry, Groggy. Appreciate you joining from Mixer. Hop on over to Twitch. It's still SeazndMedic. There's just gaming on the end of it. SeazndMedic Gaming. And that way you can be here more than a week. We'd appreciate it. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, my daughter. Well, I think it's time for Rebel to skip this discussion. Yeah, it's kind of a strange place to jump right in. But that's pretty much it for that. This particular person that pretends to be a dog, it's her subscriber page or whatever. She charges $20 a month for fan-only content, and she does limit what she'll do, of course, according to her personal tastes. The most that she's ever made off of a single video that she would do for someone was $1,200. She's turned more down than she's accepted, but she doesn't do anything with any other animals, doesn't do anything, won't even pose for pictures in public with them, because she doesn't want it being misconstrued. So she's got a different lifestyle yeah. Mental health involves so many things. Interrelating with people is among them. Yeah, so say it again, Dadpool. What do you? Yeah, and so she's not hurting herself. She's not hurting anybody else. She just likes to play like a puppy. The same people were mentioning like furries in there, people that like to dress up in animal suits. That changing their identity, essentially. Yeah, exactly. And a medic gets paid $12 an hour if they're lucky. Yeah, I got paid more here in Colorado than I did in Utah by far. Um, and and school teachers make less than 40,000 a year, but yet $20 a month. She's able to make over $100,000. She lives in the United States. She's lives in Texas. Uh, what's it? Yeah, exactly. It gives me hope and dream that I can eventually be financially comfortable. Yeah. So, Bot Mom does game streaming. Dadpool does or has done in the past. Does game streaming. I have streamed games, and I will in the future. But I think a lot of people get into streaming and doing this very thing in public, except I'm like looking directly at you and we're having discussions and I'm not doing something else. You're not subscribing to my content because I'm an awesome game player. Because, I mean, I enjoy it. I'm better at some things than others, but I don't think that I'll be making a huge dent in our lifestyle by streaming, nor will I make a huge contribution by streaming. I'm hoping to help it pay for itself in the future. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with some of the chat. I'm missing things. Say it again about interrelating with people being part of mental health. Yeah, it's you're 100%. Oh, whoops! Hey, that was Restream telling me that we had messages. I just saw 100%. Nah, you're gonna do it 100%. Yeah, I appreciate it, Bot Mom. You're very supportive. So, as far as Twitch goes, we have made it to the 50 followers or more. I haven't looked to see if it was or more yet today. As long as nobody cancels or cancels their follow, we're good. Yeah, Mr. Donuts thinks that I'm going to be a professional e-farmer. That, if that was a thing, is that a thing? So I appreciate the comments. Appreciate it. So we made it to the 50 mark. Now I just need to get my bad part of the average to drop off over the next 2 weeks. And as long as we have more than 3 people average in the chat for 30 days of our streams, then the affiliate thing won't come through and people will be able to send tips or subscribe or do whatever. Because the only comments that I've got via email was someone asking about, well, how do we contribute or whatever? Well, you have to wait until I get affiliate and then we can do it that way. Because the other is just like going through the Amazon wish list and everything for the computer is more than I feel comfortable having people try to donate. You know what I mean? Mental health involves so many things, interrelating with people is among them. Is that it? Was that the comment? That I do have a PayPal. Yeah, there we go. That's the comment that he wanted, Vern. I have a tough time trying to take that kind of, I have a tough time having people the idea of giving tips or subscribing even. Um, so I'm just not. Uh, yeah, but if they ask, yeah, it's just. And at the same time, I feel bad for some of the streamers that they're right on that edge of not quite being comfortable streaming and asking for stuff and being not asking for it at all. It feels sometimes Twitch can get kind of toxic. Our group so far on Twitch, definitely not toxic. We won't tolerate it at all. But oh, you're fine. Yeah, exactly. So someone last night mentioned that they collect tips and donate them to veteran streamers once a week. The whole group goes around rating them. It's kind of neat. Yeah, I mean, Twitch is like 90% toxic. It depends. Like, so we've been on Twitch this whole time, and the only toxic people that I've gotten have actually came from that D Live that I don't stream on anymore. But it was just, it's weird. It was weird people from like Turkey and whatnot that just, they pop on, they don't really pay attention to what the stream's about or anything. And they just make a comment and then they leave. So, or it's people that were trolling for, hey, follow for follow. That's another thing. Hey, if you follow me, I'll follow you. Our numbers will get huge. Yeah, and D Live, V Live. When I was getting messages from D Live about their founder having, talking about their particular monetization style is cryptocurrency. And he basically sat there and he was describing like a pyramid scheme. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not mentioning. Let's see. Yeah, I'm toxic. I was exposed to cyanide once and I still don't know if I got it off. Yeah, well. Yeah. I understand that. And thanks for your service. Crazy as well. So yeah, the monetization part, I feel like if I put it out there and then it's an option, then great. But I don't like to have to say, all right, well, here, give me cash into my PayPal account or buy me this off of Amazon. It's very uncomfortable, right? So I usually don't do that. If you do have things that, I know we're kidding around a lot here and a lot of us are comfortable talking with each other, and that's what this is about. Yeah. You can send questions, comments, things that you don't feel like you want to put out in chat yet because you're not comfortable with it. You can send them to SeazndMedic@outlook.com. And maybe if you don't want your name mentioned or whatever, just put it in the headline. Don't mention name, but hey, here's this question. And then we'll just answer it. And if you happen to miss it, hopefully catch it in a recording or whatever on the next stream. We're not so busy yet that you probably wouldn't, you probably will see it on the very next stream. So asking for help in any manner is hard to do. Yeah, it is. I did a GoFundMe page a while back that It was to try to help fund. There was people that for like $12,000 they would get me a dog that was trained for me. Well, didn't end up making more than $100 out of that whole thing, and so it took me about 2 months to even put out the GoFundMe in the first place. And when it was totally unsuccessful, it made me feel even kind of worse. Like, and I tried to refund the money back, and it wouldn't go through. And yeah. Let me catch back up here. Bot Mom says it makes her uncomfortable as well. That's why she never does star goals or any of that on Facebook. I don't know. There are some people that make such a huge deal about always asking at every break in their game that, oh, you know, hey, we're this close away from the star goal, or hey, we're only 4 subs away from this particular number. I need more subs. And you know, this is about trying to get people to feel comfortable enough to come in and chat and diffuse and maybe make their day better. Give them some tools to deal with anxiety, stress, depression, things that they don't necessarily, you know, feel like they can talk about anywhere else, hopefully. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Donut's money goals put him off. And I don't feel like I look grateful enough or happy enough on camera. Much too much anxiety. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the first stream that I did, just doing just this chat versus the way it is now, I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks, but it's vastly different. I had so many tics and things. I still play with my beard, and I'll continue to do that, but that's the least unappealing thing that I was doing as far as my facial expressions. Vern had, I hope it's okay that I'm calling you Vern, guys. I just don't want to call you crazy the whole time. I know Vern's not a gamer as far as that. He created this so he could have this experience with us. Had a similar experience trying to get a dog, expensive critters, those PTSD dogs. Yeah, and that's where I had it. It's nothing negative about people that serve in the military. I mean, thank you for your service, Vern, and anybody else that serve in the military, and those of you that are in public safety. Thanks for your service too, and the medical field. But there are so many more groups out there that will help fund service animals for military people than, say, public safety. And I mean, maybe in the future, we can take our community and have a portion of it, like, be a nonprofit to generate funds to help. My first thought was, if I have a community that is supportive and helps me get a professionally trained dog, that maybe the next fundraising goal would be to fund a dog for another paramedic or EMT. And then if we do that and it's successful, maybe we move on to try to do one for, like, a healthcare worker or someone that has to deal with PTSD, anxiety, that type of thing, So we like move it around to the communities that I'm a part of that don't see as much of the light of day, you know. Um, I'm trying to catch up with some of your comments. They just catch my eye every once in a while. It's just like, well, what was that? Yeah, that's my tagline. I used it when I did radio station during college when I was right out of high school. It was I even used a moniker or a pseudonym instead of my actual name. It was DJ Dale James. You know, DJ Dale James. DJ Dale James. He has a face for radio. Mama always said I got a face for radio. Only watch my first stream if you want to laugh. Yeah, it's my first streams on Mixer were pretty much me staring at the TV screen and occasionally looking up at the camera like it was going to suck my soul out. And then my first stream, just sitting in front of the camera and just talking, I was a twitchy mess. I only managed, I think, 30 minutes, and then I just had to shut it off. Yeah. Well, let's see. Can't even watch my own streams. I make the dumbest faces sometimes. I know mine's the eye roll that I do that drives me crazy. And so the muscles right here at the top of my head are so tense right now because I'm catching myself from doing the eye roll. And my daughter, if she's still around, she does the same damn thing. And so her eyes would be like up inside of her head 25% of the time, just like me, if I wasn't taking care of that. Let's see. Mrs. Sticky Day said something. Trying to find it. Too much anxiety. Oh, okay, yeah. This is one of my first stream. If you want all that, that was the one that I showed before. I thought it was Bot Mom that said that. Yeah, she says that was a dual stream playing with Dauntless. What else? Have a good stream. Got to help with the kiddos. Yep, I appreciate you, Dadpool. We'll talk to you later, probably tonight. You're going to see this grow, and it'll be a great success. Patience. I know, and hurry up and wait. I know. Yeah, exactly, Vern. Exactly. I don't know what I was worried about. I mean, the only thing that would have happened would have been that straw sound at the bottom of the empty sundae glass, right, or the shake cup. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been fun so far, and the streams go by faster and faster. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark already, and we've talked about 2 articles. But that one that so I was watching Bot Mom's stream after we finished Wednesday, and I was like, oh, wait for this article. It was the puppy article. Wait for this article we're going to talk about, or you could just read it on the Discord. She goes, nah, I don't want to ruin it. I want to look forward to something. There's also an article in there where we were talking about air movement. Allergy nose is starting to kick in. I posted an article. It was from USA Today. It says most air conditioning systems don't protect against the coronavirus. In some cases, they can actually facilitate its spread. It's a whole article that basically explains the engineering behind ventilation and what it needs to basically, instead of recycling the air, it needs to have a way to get out, and the filters need to be large enough, or the filters are too large to filter out anything that small as a virus. So it's probably more advisable to have air that comes in and goes out, is the gist of it. But if you like engineering speak and you want to follow the science behind it, go to the Discord and click on News Medic Sharing. It's the last article that I had put it down there, and it has quotes from the CDC, and it mentions the study from the China restaurant that I had mentioned. Over the course of 12 days, 9 people who dined at the restaurant fell ill as a result of another patron with COVID-19 infection, and they were 2 to 4 tables away from that person when they were in that enclosure. Just poor ventilation. And within 5 days, 3 people sitting in the infected patrons table were infected, along with the sitting below the air conditioner. Of the 91 people in the restaurant in that hour, only those at tables in the way of the air conditioner's flow contracted the virus. So he was sitting underneath the air conditioner flow, and it just facilitated spread 4 tables away, and not on either side. That's some pretty good tracing, investigation, infection tracing there. So yeah, World Health Organization recognized the aerosolized droplets could lead to infection, and 200 medical experts signed an open letter urging the agency to react to mounting evidence to go a step further than just recommendations for ventilation. Yeah. So I've seen some very interesting articles on air conditioning and virus spread. Something we did during a possible chemical attack exercise was turn off AC and all vents into the building. Yeah. You would think that for like a viral spread or a chemical attack, they should do exactly what they do for fire alarms. So if it's a high-rise building, the only place the ventilation stays on during a fire is in the stairwells, and that's to pressurize the stairwell, and it pushes air out so that smoke will not stay in the stairwells to facilitate people to exit. They need to do the same thing for, well, we have a viral contagion in this particular building. We'll shut down the ventilation system, we'll clean it, and we'll do the positive pressure in the stairwells. So essentially it's negative pressure in the stairwells, but they do it from top to bottom instead of bottom to top, if that makes sense. So a negative pressure room in a hospital pulls air in from outside and ejects it out through the ventilation system so that it stays negative. Stairwells, I think, do it similar, except they vent the air out the bottom so that the smoke that is up to that normally rises is actually pushed down and out so that you can escape. Anyway, that was a million years ago that I studied that crap. I was a volunteer fire marshal for a very small community for a while, for 10, 12 years, or 10 years at least. But yeah, Anyway, good times. So, what else? Everything's slowing down. People are actually having to go back to work. Gosh, isn't that terrible? So that is the last article that I had posted. I haven't looked at articles this morning at all yet, but if you do go to that Discord address, SeazndMedic Squad, I do have those articles posted under news. Medic is sharing, and there's also a mental health chat section, so you guys can continue to chat with each other during the day or at night when we're not actually streaming. We can continue these conversations, and that would be great. If your permissions are screwed up, because I'm not a setup guru as far as Discord goes, so I will make mistakes. If you don't get the permissions that you need, just send me a message in the Discord, and we'll get you set up. We'll get you fixed. But other than that, we're just over 2 hours. Well, we're an hour and 45 minutes. What other topics would you guys like to see me do a little bit of research on? Or should we just continue to do our spiel the way that it's been? It's up to you guys. Send me ideas. You can send them in the Discord. We can continue to chat in the Discord. Funny thing is I'm circling it with my mouse like you could actually see it. You can't see it. Perfect. Lunchtime for me, great. Thank you for speaking up. Greatly appreciated. Appreciate you too, Vern. Appreciate it. So we started a little bit later. We started around 9:30-ish. It showed, as far as my numbers go, it showed more people come on between 9:30 and 10 Mountain Standard Time than like at 9 o'clock. And then we were cutting off at 11 o'clock, and there was still like 7 or 8 or more people hanging around. So want to make sure the times stay good for everybody. But do you think there's times in the evening that would be good too? What time? I mean, I like this as a daytime thing for me for some reason. And then at night, I would think that I'm going to be playing some games in the future and whatnot, and we could still talk in between game sets or whatever. But I'm going to be streaming some games that might not appeal to everybody, but I mean, I do like the farm sim, and that you can talk the entire time. But like if I'm playing Escape from Tarkov or Call of Duty, it's going to be a little bit difficult to have conversations like this, straightforward, consistent, but yet we can still do it. So it's in the, it's up to whatever appears to be working for our stream is what I'll continue to do. But I think I will go ahead and end right here because we're slowing down pretty well. And everybody's got a good laugh. I hope that you've enjoyed everything here. And this stupid phone up here keeps ringing. Like people actually want to talk to me. I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and going to make a grilled cheese. Yep, there you go. Lunchtime. You're having a late lunch at 1:20, but hey, depends on what time you got up, I guess. So once again, we have the Discord, discord.gg/STWZXVR. But we also have an email address, SeazndMedic@outlook.com. If you guys have questions, comments, things that you think that you want to hear about, things that you want to talk about, especially things that you just didn't want to mention in open stream, we can do that. We continue to do this for YouTube and Facebook for now, and we'll see. Maybe after we get our streaming PC, I'll stream Facebook from the laptop, and we'll do Twitch from the gaming computer. We'll see, but appreciate everybody being here. It's been fun. Our follows are still at 50. Our viewership is up. I don't even know what the sandwich is. I hope it's edible. Can't be any worse than an MRE. Well, it's probably the MREs that made you not able to taste anything. So as long as it was in sandwich form and there's an expiration date on it. Of course, if somebody else's name was on it, we won't talk about that. Appreciate you. You guys have a good day, Vern. Hope your lunch went well and stays with you. Does what it needs to do. Bot Mom, appreciate you. Hope you enjoy your grilled cheese. Dad Pool took off to take care of the kids. That's awesome. This is Sticky Days. Appreciate your contributions as well, as always. Those of you over on Facebook that were lurking in the background, appreciate you too. Everybody would kind of migrate over to twitch.tv/SeazndMedic Gaming. It would facilitate you guys seeing each other better. Like I said, we can continue these chats in the Discord. I know everybody and their dog has a Discord, but our Discord chat, if it was a continuation of the chat like this, I think that it would be great. You know what I mean? I really think that it would be. So you guys have a good day. Appreciate you. And as always, I hope you have a great day, not just because I said so, but because you guys deserve it. So we'll